talking. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, so what I was thinking, I don't know why, but I just got this put on me that we should all give like a brief like synopsis of not really our life story, but our spiritual story. And I know that I can way over talk. So I'm really going to be very strict with myself when it's my turn to be brief. But I just think it would be really helpful because a lot of you guys' stories I don't know. If you want me to start, I will. If someone else wants to start, that's fine. But I just thought that would be super helpful.
I don't want to start.
Y'all want me to start?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes, I'm definitely I'm so hungry.
I'm really, really, really going to try not to overtalk because I know I do that.
I talk about mine too because I suck with words.
No, you don't. You're perfect.
Same.
Well, for me, it was, oh my gosh, my life has been so crazy and complicated and so many twists and turns. But basically, I was raised in the church. I didn't take it super seriously. In high school, I got pregnant. I went in a downward spiral because the guy left me. I got really into church again while I was pregnant. I got really, like, it calmed me a lot. My church calmed me, but it was mostly just the Bible. And so off and on, throughout my early adult life, I would fall back on the Bible because when I would read it, and it's not about church and it's not about rules, it's not about anything other than there's just something about the Bible that would just really give me this super calm, super peace. But I dedicated probably 10 years of my life to really truly studying it thoroughly. And I have quite a bit of it, not memorized, it's not the right word, but I'm one of those people. I used to be one of those people. I'm not anymore, but I still believe in the power of the Bible. But for me, there came a point when I realized there was more to me than what the church was willing to recognize or talk about. And I knew there was more to this life of all of us than what I was getting out of the church. And I just thought that was really strange because, you know, I've had these abilities as a medium or a psychic or a clairvoyant or whatever my whole life. And it seems like every time I would go through trauma, they would get deeper. And so when I went through my horrible divorce and everything, for some reason, trauma just makes it open up more. And I just wanted to understand myself. I wanted to understand why I could know things and feel things and see things, and the church wasn't going to recognize it. So I do feel like the Bible is holy. I feel like it has a place, but and then once I got to the point where I would literally pray, anything that doesn't serve me, remove it, and it would work. Or anybody that is not really love me, please remove them. I've always been a person who prays, and every time I would pray, those things would work. And it seemed like when I would pray to put the right people in my path that would be the best for my ascension journey, the weirdest people would come up. And I love weird people. I love authentic people. I love weird people. The weirder you are, the more I'm drawn to you. And so every time I would pray those kind of cleansing prayers, please remove toxic people, please give me the people that are going to help me in my ascension journey, it would work. And so, like I said, Jennifer and I were really good friends in high school, kind of. And then we didn't see each other for maybe like 8 or 10 years. I would run into her probably once every couple of years, usually in juvenile court. But it was like she would be there for her. She had a sick kid who had to miss school a lot. And then I had a baby daddy who always didn't want to pay child support. So we would always see each other in juvenile court. Well, one day in like 2010, maybe, I was leaving Walmart and she was out in the parking lot, and I was just going to say hey to her like I always do and just keep it moving. But she stopped me and she was just like, chatty. And I was like, oh my gosh, she has such a good energy. Like, because we hadn't been close since high school, and you know, people change. And so usually when we see each other, we would just say, hey, what's up, whatever. But she really wanted to talk, and I could feel like she just had this really, really welcoming and warm energy. And she gave me her phone number. And her, can I talk about Dane?
Yeah.
Okay, her son, who had been stolen from her legally, which I'll let her explain that later, but she had a baby in high school. The baby was stolen from her legally. That child had become best friends with one of my stepsons. And so her child, her biological son that was stolen from her when she was a teenager, that child was at my house every weekend for years and years and years.
Wow.
He was my stepson's best friend, and I knew who he was, but I didn't know Jennifer's full story. Like, basically, when she had lost her son, that was about the time we went our separate ways, not for any other reason than just life happened. But I would tell her when I seen her, I would tell her, hey, Dana's buddies with Caleb, whatever. But I didn't know, like, if she was a junkie. I didn't know if she was a crazy person. I didn't know if there was a reason she didn't have her kids. So I didn't want to just be like pushing it or whatever. So, and I was worried about that. Like, you don't know, if you haven't talked to somebody in 10 years, you don't know what kind of person they are. And so that day at Walmart, when she was in a really talkative mood or whatever, and she gave me her phone number, and I did call her, and we started talking on the phone a lot. And I started going and visiting her whenever I could. And she came to my house, and I was just like, this girl is incredible. And they really did steal her kid, and it really wasn't her fault. And she's not a junkie, and she's not a crazy person. Like, she really did get screwed over royally in this situation. And I just felt like so bad for her about that. But there were times where she would come to my house, and her son would be there visiting my stepson. And of course, he didn't know who she was, but that meant the world.
Oh, wow.
That would mean the world to her whenever I would allow her to do that. And my ex-husband was super abusive. So of course he would just be like, you don't need to do this. You're going to ruin everything for Caleb being able to be friends with it. He was just always angry about something. And I just thought, you know what? It's not hurting anybody. Jennifer's not approaching him. She's not telling him who she is, but that gave her a lot of peace and a lot of healing to know that her child was okay, you know? And so I'm sorry I have to talk about Jennifer so much, but she is a pretty big part of my story as far as spirituality goes. But so every time I would pray, it seemed like I would meet somebody else. And Jennifer was one of those answered prayers, because I didn't have a lot of girlfriends. I didn't have a lot of people that I could trust. And her and I clicked again instantly. And I didn't know if she was spiritual. We didn't talk about that kind of thing, but it was like the things that would just fall into place with her son. Like, for instance, I remember she would always say, one day when he's 18, we're going to talk, and he's just going to be so happy, and he's going to not have anything to hold against me because I didn't do anything wrong, and blah, and I'm just sitting here like, Jennifer, I don't know why, but in my head, he was going to be so mad at her, because I would have been, I would have been like, why didn't you fight for me? And all this shit like that. And she's like, nope, he's not going to have nothing against me. He's going to completely understand the situation. And then a couple of years later, he turned 18. About 5 years later, he turned 18. And I think one of her daughters had approached him or whatever and told him the truth. And she was right. Sure as shit. The people that had been raising him, they weren't even good people. He didn't even like them. And so he got with Jennifer, and he never left her side. And that was like, what, 6, 7, 8 years ago, Jen?
Yeah.
And he's never, I mean, that was his mama, and he was so grateful to have her. He was like, I always felt like I didn't belong. I always felt like there was a part of me missing. And it was just such an amazing thing for me to be able to witness. But that right there was confirmation, because I had prayed that I could have some people in my life that would uplift me, people in my life that would help my ascension journey. And she was one of the people that God produced. And then all of these just miracles were just happening throughout the time we were friends, But I kind of got sidetracked with the Dane story. When I got really sick, I told you guys a little bit about that. I was searching for natural remedies. I had watched this documentary called The Secret. It changed my life. Not the movie with actors, but it's an actual documentary. And I watched that about 2015 or 2016, and it changed my life, because it teaches you how to manifest, basically. And it teaches you how powerful your thoughts are. And I would start talking to Jennifer about stuff like that. She had this guy on YouTube that she would follow called Spirit Science. And it was a weird little account, and some of the videos were amazing, and some of them were a little out there. But that was her and she did like tarot, but that was about it for her as far as spirituality goes. But it was like every time we would get together and we would focus our energy on anything, it would happen. So I don't know if I've told all you guys this, but 4 years ago, we didn't have money for food. Neither one of us. We were loaning each other food stamp cards, and we were digging gas money out of the change that we had saved or dug up out of the bottom of our car. There was times where neither one of us had a vehicle. And then we would just talk about manifesting, and we would talk about choosing our thoughts and being wise about choosing our thoughts. And I don't know, Jennifer, you can take it from there. I'm getting a little bit overwhelmed, but it kind of just exploded after that.
No, you did wonderful explaining it. Like I did, like 9 years ago, my car broke down and I didn't even have a car.
This is a beautiful story.
Yeah, there was
It
like,
is.
and Christy and I, we would scrounge our money together and get a pizza and all that stuff and just hang out. But you never
Stop running, because you're moving. I'm sorry.
you never know the memories
Mama
you're
mode.
moments.
I think a lot of us have a lot in common. And I think that we all definitely have known each other prior to this. I resonate so much with Christy's story. Like, honestly, I feel like I am you in the future a little bit. Like, I came to you, definitely, I met you for more knowledge, because I feel like we have so much similar attributes and the same kind of gifts, even to the same illness, the trauma. And then her and Jennifer and I have the same. And, Andrea and I have definitely connected on a spiritual level for years. And I think like the spirits work and God works in a very mysterious way. And I think we're all brought here for the same thing. We all suffered with a lot of trauma, and you two are already at the part where I would like to be.
You will be. You will be.
Oh,
You know,
I'm already feeling I'm feeling more confident. I'm just, the growth is amazing. And when you find like people like you, and it's just, it's uplifting.
yeah, and it is. And for her and I, our personalities have changed so much in the past year and a half since we started doing like the hypnosis and everything. And I'll let her explain why that is and what you gain out of the hypnosis. But specifically for her and I, it's like her personality, she was exceptionally private. She was probably the most private person and untrusting person I've ever known. And to me, it was endearing because I've known her since she was so young. When you've known somebody and you know them so deeply, things like that, that's just a part of their personality. And when you love somebody unconditionally, you take all of them. And so that was just part of her personality. And the same for her with me. I was an oversharer. I was a worrywart. I was a complainer. I mean, I had been through so much, and I was just bleeding all over the place. And she never got tired of it. She never got tired of listening to my sob stories. She always had space for me. She was always willing to clean up the blood that I spilled everywhere. And of course, I'm talking about metaphorically, but
Yeah, absolutely.
For her, it was like, I could understand because of the trauma that she went through with her son and other things that she's been through in her life. I could understand why she didn't trust people. Oh, she just yeeted us.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
You can still hear us?
Oh, 100%. I have my ear.
Okay. Sorry. So for me to just look at this different personality and see how completely opposite we were, but how willing we were to accept each other and love each other, flaws and all, was just really endearing to me because I had never met anybody really like that had done that for me. And so, there'd be times where she'd be going through something and she'd be like, oh, I'm going to go to hell for this. This is terrible. I can't believe I'm whatever. And I'd just be like, no, don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Like, we all have this one life. We're all given circumstances, and not all of our circumstances are fair, and you have to do what you have to do. And vice versa. There would be times where I'm like, I think I'm just going to die of sadness. And she's like, please don't speak like that. Please don't ever say that. And it was just the maturity level. But once we both kind of agreed, because for me, I'd always had these interests that were weird, that other people didn't accept, that other people I couldn't open up to. And I started slowly opening up to her, and she was way more open than I had expected. But fast forward to when she started doing the hypnosis stuff and I became her guinea pig, it was really all just about being open and being available for whatever came in and running head first towards it with faith. And a lot of things, once we turned on that faith, a lot of things in our life got extremely better even faster. And if Jennifer, if you want to elaborate, you can.
Oh, I suck with words. You're doing wonderful.
No, you don't.
I could give you an instance where I totally agree and resonate with what you said about manifestation and the power of prayer. I would be I get not visions, but I get so strongly faithful that I do create the most positive aspect. I do. I remember healing myself from being sick, and I'm just screaming out the word God, and instantly I was healed. And like I'm a witness of miracles through my child. Never doubting, not one time that I was going to lose my child, even when I lost my child. She came back. Like it was almost euphoric. It's something that I want everybody to experience. Like I know that I am powerful, and I know the words that I create will slit your throat or bring you up. And I do that to myself. And I know once I start staying at a high vibration of watching really what I watch on television, what I listen to, everything affects my vibration. And I made a playlist just all night last night. I'm not doing anything. It's the snowstorm, and my whole playlist is different. It's all great music that I like to vibe to, positive affirmations, good listening, and I want to stay vibing high, even when I know I would normally be on a different level right now. I'm going through a little bit of a hiccup, and I'm happy. I'm
Well, I'll
happy,
tell.
and I'm waiting for my blessing that I deserve, and I'm worth that blessing, and I'm worth that. I've been through so much. I never was a pity party. I've always just picked myself up and got up and do it. And you know what? I just went through it 6 months ago. I'm doing it again. I didn't die.
Which is,
I need a
Yeah,
shirt that says, "But did you die?"
right. And it is all about the faith. And I'll hurry up, I promise. But in my story, the main parts that I want you to really grasp and hold on to, she she really truly was not an angry person, but a very distrustful person. She did not like people, and she had no problem saying that. I don't like people, I don't trust people, everybody has a motive. She's done a total 360. You guys, the stuff that she has shared in the last year and a half with you guys, that would have never happened before. Never. The vulnerability that she's willing to show you guys is amazing. The amount of conversation she has, it just shows you how much she really truly believes in this journey. And then for me, I quit whining, I quit complaining, I quit with the sob story, because I really truly started to realize that my words are powerful. And if I say something negative about myself, that actually will manifest. So I try so hard to only say positive things. But I forgot, I had also met Andrea a few years back. I don't remember exactly what year it was. I was subbing at the school, and she was a teacher's aide. And I had friend requested her on Facebook because I thought that her energy was really, really good. And so every time I would see her when I was subbing, we would just have these conversations. I mean, they were brief and they were just friendly chats, but you could just feel the energy from this girl was just out of this world. Like, she was so positive, she was so intelligent, she was so beautiful, and I just wanted to be around her. And then she found out that I was a medium, and she was like, listen, I'm not going to tell you too much, or I'm going to try not to, because Andrea is a talker like me. She's like, I'm going to try not to tell you too much, but I have people who are on the other side. Do you think you could connect with them? And I don't want to talk too much about Andrea's story, but I did do that for her. And so then we connected, and I found out that she was kind of like a white witch. And that was so intriguing to me. And some of the stories she would tell me. And then she had battled with her church family just the same way that I did, on the feeling guilty about being spiritual or whatever. Does that make sense? But I'll let her tell her story. But I just wanted to include that when I connected with her, that had been another time when I was praying for people to come into my life that would help me ascend, and for God to remove anybody in my life that had a negative motive. But Andrea, you can go ahead if you want.
Yeah, thank you. Huh? Well, tell you to stop spitting on me. That's gross. It's nasty. Oh my gosh. Anyways, okay. So my spiritual journey, it I've always felt like I was different. I always felt like everything, like I've always just been the black sheep. Don't ask Andrea her opinion because she'll tell you. don't don't do certain things because Andrea will put you straight. Like make it a Gemini joke or whatever you want to call it. I just was never down with the BS. And I've always been called strange, odd. I mean, I would be the person that would listen to Bewitched. It was a little Disney baby. Say you will, say you won't. Say okay, anyway, so that was me. Okay. Nobody in eighth grade knew who they were. And I was like, whatever, I'm bumping this on my little CD-ROM on my computer. But I've just always been very weird. And I knew something was different about me because I would always experience like shadow people in my room. And I would tell my dad something's in my room and he'd be like, yeah, it's just your mom playing tricks on you. That's all I would hear growing up. And I had a dream of my grandparents' death, which I finally come to terms that that's what a lot of the stuff I was dreaming about was. And then I had a dream of my mom's death, like verbatim everything that would take place that day. And it was the first time in my dream I saw color and I saw her casket and I heard my dad or heard sound. Everything was just always black and white and it was always like a gray picture. Um, but I was too scared to tell my mom about that dream because I didn't want to be weird or, touched or whatever. But like I would wake up and I would see things move in my room and I'd run across my sister's room and sleep on her floor because I wasn't allowed in her bed. Um, and then I kept thinking if I tell my mom that the dream I had, would she stay alive or not? Just a lot of that doubt. And I remember talking to my mom's sister and she was like, yeah, you have the gift of sight and you have to be careful on what you're asking God to give you. It's not like you're predicting the future, but you're kind of predicting what's to come in your life and maybe someone else's life. And she's like, sometimes the visions can be really scary. And I was like, okay, I just won't ask for that. Fast forward to my dating life. After I had Oriana and I was dating Melanie's dad at the time, I just knew I was getting antsy. And it just seemed like everything was just overwhelming me and not leading me to my greater good. Nashville in itself was stressful enough because of the cost of living. And Melanie's dad left for like 6 months, talking about I'm only gonna be gone for 2 weeks. Well, it turned into 6 months. I met somebody else in transition of
What are you
that
doing?
breakup. And it was just one of those situations that I just had to leave. And before I left, my sister said, I think it's time for you to go home. And she said, I think it'll be better for you. You don't have the hoopla of the city, all that kind of stuff. And I remember I was laying in bed and I said, you know what, Lord, if you want me to go back home, you'll give me a sign. You'll give me a sign. And with those signs, I'm going to have a place to live, some form of a job, and I'm going to have something else. What? What did I tell you
Come on,
about
Monica,
spitting?
and stop. Up,
Well, I don't
up,
feel sorry for you. I told you about that spit.
lay down.
You started it. She finished it. Go. Goodbye. I'm on the phone. Anyway, so needless to say, um, I got all three that I asked for within 2 weeks. I had a house, I had a job, and I had daycare. Those are the top three things that I needed, and they were all within reasonably priced ranges. And then it was just like, you know what? I went to church and I started going to celebrate recovery because I said there's something inside of me that's not healed. And then I just started my spiritual tapping in. And I'm like, you know what? God gave me a gift. And whatever that gift is, I want to use it. And I want to know how I can help myself to be a better mother and example for my kids. And I really started to start with self love. And I had to come to grips that I was a sexual assault victim, not once, not twice, 3 times. I had to come to grips with that reality. I did the shadow work that was really hard, that I kind of brushed under the rug because, in Black culture, it's more like everybody has a sob story, but because you're Black, nobody's going to care about you as much as you have to care about yourself. So you have to work through that nastiness of your life. and the whole stigma that all Black women are just extra strong no matter what. I really wanted to dig into like what is it. So I started looking into African spirituality, and I kind of related to that. And then I started looking into tarot cards because I've always been interested in tarot cards. And I started digging. Joey gave me a pair of tarot cards, and I still have those tarot cards. And she also gave me a pair of oracle cards too. So that was pretty cool as well. I just started playing with things and started going to different groups, and then I found some people that I trusted, and they were telling me like get in contact with your spirit guides, and I was like, there's no way that really works. Like that can't be right. But every person that I encountered, even with Christy, it was always like, you have such a beautiful light about you, and that you just glow in wonderful colors and all this stuff. And I'm over here like, really? Because I'm really going through some stuff. So that's where we were at. But other than that, I've just kind of kept up with it. Then, of course, I went back into like, is the devil really trying to tell me what these cards are? Or am I really witnessing the energy that God has gifted me? And I mean, I was doing my rituals and like, bringing God into the ritual, not like, oh, let me call Hecate or Lilith. I don't do that. But I was like, you know what, Lord, you created candles for a reason. You have incense in heaven. Like I started really looking into like how the kingdom that is prepared for us in heaven is relative to what we're going through. And I just always knew, even in church, that there was more to it what was in a book. I always knew more about what I felt. And it was always hard for me. And I told y'all this in the last video, that it's really hard for me to grasp. Why would I have to sacrifice my child to prove to God that I'm loyal in what he's trying to say? All these sacrifices of a human just never sat well with me. But because I grew up in the church, it's hard for me to deny some of that stuff's a little weird. Some of that stuff just like, what you trying to prove here? But I do realize the older I've gotten, my personal spiritual relationship with God is going to always trump what my sole purpose is, because he did create me. And if he gave me something, then there's a battle that he wants me to learn my gifts about, and learn to put my trust in him, and learn to put trust in myself to be the executor of his will. So that's my little journey into all of this.
Yourself puts trust in him.
Yeah,
Huh?
and
What did you say?
I said by putting trust in yourself puts trust in him.
Exactly. And
yeah,
I've been really working on my faith on that, because it does wane and it's hard to stay in that faith vibration, but I'm really working on it.
It is.
but we're
What the good thing is, you can look at life like a dance. You're going to dance on the light side a little bit, and then you're going to dance on the dark side a little bit. But the only thing that matters is whether you dance on the light or on the dark, you create your own dance and you just enjoy it.
But
Yeah.
Andrea, first of all, we are created in his image. So we can never be separate from God. We are created in his image. And another thing, I understand your struggle because I went through it too. And what helped me a lot was realizing the Old Testament is just stories written by people. Those are not necessarily, for me, it's the New Testament. It's what Jesus said. And what Jesus said is very similar to what like the Buddhists say, or the monks: love everyone, do no harm, have faith, tell the truth, don't steal. Like, those are very basic moral compass rules for me. And Old Testament for me is more about stories. It's more about history. But something a lot of people don't know, in the biblical days, the warriors or the soldiers or whatever, they would put crystals in their armor for protection. They believed in that protection that the crystals had. And a lot of people don't know that.
Chaz talked
Yeah,
about
actually, yeah, I think we talked about that too.
But you're one of the first people and one of the only people that I've been able to see your aura. I've only been able to see an aura with 2 people, and you're one of the only ones.
hers.
Me?
Yeah.
Well,
No, Andrea.
Yeah. That day that you was here and you got that surrogate session done the first time I met you,
Uh-huh.
we was all on the porch, and we was all sitting there talking, and I kept seeing like rainbow overlay on the sky, and I would look at y'all, and y'all just be talking away, and I'm sitting here looking at the sky like, are they not seeing this? Are they
Yeah.
not seeing these rainbows? And y'all are just talking like everything's normal, and I'm just looking. And then it come to find out it's because we had that activation in that session. And it was funny because I
Yeah.
was like, I would close my eyes and the rainbows would still be there. And I'm like, are they not seeing this? Like, what is going on here? How are they not talking about this?
Right. No,
Yeah, I
I
could
just
see purple and white. I could always see purple and white on Andrea whenever I would first be around her, especially when I was in her home, because she was the most authentic. She was the most comfortable. And purple and white are actually the best colors you can have. Those are purity colors. So for me, that was like validation for me. This girl is good. You can trust her. You can spend time with her. That was a huge validation for me.
yeah. And those are the colors I usually get. I am white, green, yellow, white, green, purple, or just rainbow. And I'm like, but I don't feel like.
Yeah,
And
I
it's just
say
like that
purple
lady
and
at
white.
roofing.
Yeah,
She
but
was
Andrea,
like,
I think your biggest issue, and I think all of us do go through this, but honestly, your biggest issue, I think, is that you let the devil trick you. You let the devil come in. If you would every single day just say, I cast out any demons, you're not around me. In the name of Jesus, I am pure, I'm holy. You can't be around me and you can't mess with my head. Just make a practice of that. Because I think your biggest issue is the devil or demons try to get, and they don't have any real power. The only power they actually have is to trick our minds. And so they try to get after you because you have this wounding and you have this insecurity, and they try to go there and make you think that things are what they're not really, because you're golden. Your life is great. Honestly, from the outside looking in, you have a very beautiful life. You have a beautiful family. Everything looks great from the outside looking in. And I don't even mean to be like blasé about it, but I have dealt with demons before, and they can't do anything except trick you.
right. And you're right, because I do notice that, especially like I said, with my hair, like the reason why dreadlocks are literally what they call a journey, it's because we are stripping away from what society has told us as Black women and men, that our hair was wrong, our hair is not meeting the standards of being or looking clean, or I mean, there's a whole reason why we have the Crown Act that has been invoked in a lot of businesses and practices and stuff like that. And now that I don't have my hair extensions on, and now I don't have the wig because it's too much effort for me to just put a wig on anymore, I'm just kind of like over at it at this point. And it's it's allowed my insecurity to really push forward. And now that I've gotten into this point, like I find myself looking at Corey like, do you like me? Am I pretty? Like I feel like I have a fat face. I feel like
Andrea,
like I do. Like, but
I
this is part
remember
of the journey.
go back to when we used to go out, and every man and woman would stare at you. You were like a beautiful goddess, and you would be like, "Do I smell? Do I smell like that Black girl? Do I smell?" And I'm like, Andrea, there's nothing about you that's wrong right now. You look scrumdiddly-licious. You smell great. And I'm that type of person that would be like, "What the fuck are you wearing? I'm not leaving with you." What like I never had a complaint. I don't know. Maybe it's because I never complimented her when we left. It's like if I have nothing to say, if I don't say anything bad, that means you are on fucking point. Like, and you are always like, you're beautiful, and you're always so insecure, and you were dressed badass. You like, Andrea, your confidence level was
I mean,
atrocious.
the whole it is, and that whole spiritual level of like making sure I am feeling loved for myself, because
Right,
I
not
had
right.
I had to decenter men. I had to stop thinking that because my stepmom told me, she told me that if I was to leave Danny, I was
Like
never
you
going
were
to
a
be,
womanizer or something.
No, like she literally told me that no man is gonna find me attractive because I will be a single mother of two girls by two baby daddies. Those were her exact words.
That stigma, horrible.
Right. And I was
God.
like, I mean, I was like, I know plenty of people that are in relationships and stuff like that.
Yeah, we had this talk before. I remember this.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it just really hurt. And so I just felt like I had to stop proving myself to other people and whatnot. Let me exit off this call really quick. I've got to call Corey because he's texted me like three different times. I know, right?
Are you coming
He's
right
like,
back?
I'm like, yeah, I'm coming right back. I just gotta. He's telling me to hurry, so I'm wondering if he's trying to pick up something to eat or something. So
We're
I'll
stuck
be
in the
right back.
snow.
That too. All right, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, Joy, with
Hello.
that the light and the dark, it's not it's not like when you're on the spiritual journey, you're just gonna instantly be constantly on the bright side, because I'm in a year in it and I'm not constantly on the bright side. I mean, it's an
Oh,
everyday.
I know.
Yeah, it's easier
It's a
a
struggle.
year in. It's easier than it was the first month or 6 months in, um but it is more comforting, because when you do have situations that upset you and then you do choose the love path, it's like the complete opposite calming than what you had before.
Y'all, look at the pictures that I just put up on our group chat of Andrea.
Of
She
her
ain't got
aura.
nothing. She doesn't have nothing to worry about. She is so beautiful.
Well,
For
everybody can
real.
tell people they're beautiful, but if they don't feel it inside their self, it don't matter.
Okay, the Kim Kardashian picture was an accidental screenshot, and I did not mean to put that on there.
Oh, yes. Andrea. Gorgeous. Not the Kim Kardashian. I have a picture of her and I at a wedding. We were like, what?
Yeah, it's just a daily choice to want what you want for your life to be. But if you look at it like that, yeah, it's a very beautiful way to look at it.
So who wants me to try to channel tonight?
I always want you to channel. And your hair looks beautiful like that, Christy. It insinuates your face. I keep looking at you and I'm like, she's so beautiful. Even if you've worked.
If you ever get the sense of anyone being around me, look, whenever you're ready,
Oh,
let me know.
It's got someone around you, Joy.
oh,
Oh, I know. There's too many. I need to
Oh no,
like put
Sky.
them away.
well, I can do a reading for you anytime. Just let me know, and we'll set up a day and a time.
Christy's one of the most enlightened people on this planet. Like literally.
Well, I was just talking about to see if she has any spirits.
Yeah, she's got a millions of
Her
angels.
her mediumship.
Maybe Cressida
That is
and
so
the
cool.
guides will come through.
Yeah, I'm hoping the spirit guides do come through.
Well, Cressida
What's your
Me too.
would.
what? Do we know Joey's spirit guide's name?
When it came through in this question, it was Stephen.
Oh,
But I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right.
Hey, he could be like
I
a
don't know.
badass guardian angel. Stomps out all the negative. Okay, Andrea's back.
About 25 years
yay.
ago, I had a medium tell me there was an older figured man that was with me that was a father like, but no one at that moment passed away. And she said that he's with me as like my angel guide. So I don't know his name, and it's an
I wonder
older
if it was
feller.
Stephen.
I don't know, but he told me, you know, I don't know how he looked. I described him to a family member and no one knew. And then my sister at one point told me it was her ex-husband now, but it was her husband's great grandfather, they said, because their house was I don't know, passed down by generation after generation, and he lives there, and I was living there at the time, and I felt like he didn't want me there. But long story short, anyway, this is the medium that had told me that there's this guy with me, so I don't know who it is. I just rambled for a minute.
That's okay.
Well, I mean, I just, since you said what you said just a few minutes ago, I just picked up on it like a baby or a small child, but I don't know if you want me to do that right now or do that privately.
There's nothing about me private. I'm an open
Well,
book.
it is going to be on YouTube, so you may not want to do it.
Oh, yeah, true. Okay.
If the guys come through, they can come through, and then maybe you can do Joy on a private.
Are
Yeah,
y'all
well, I
okay
give
with
permission. I definitely give permission. I'm not.
are y'all
what-
okay with her putting this on YouTube?
It'll be
I'm
audio.
okay with that. Mhm.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so for
But-
me, like just really briefly, I don't know if you had a miscarriage, I don't know if you had an abortion, or I don't know if you had a sibling that had passed away, but I do see a bright blue light, and it's that doesn't necessarily mean a boy. It usually just means that they're always with you and that they're I don't know, it's hard to explain. It can mean that it's a boy, but it's definitely a baby. I don't know, like I said, I don't know if you had a miscarriage, I don't know if you had an abortion. If you did do either of those things, we can talk about that. There's healing there for sure, but that child is with you, and that child is always with you. And those babies always have the brightest lights. Those babies always have the clearest connection to source, and they are a super protective entity. I guess it's not even the right word. They're very
I
protective.
definitely had a miscarriage. I had an abortion when I was very, very young,
Well,
but the miscarriage I never ever stopped talking about. And like abortions, you don't really
but
kind
abortions
of
are
talk about. But this was an indeed.
Go ahead, Jennifer.
This was like an indeed
Oh, sorry.
moment of not accepting this baby, and I was literally like fire and brimstone at that moment. There was no way, and I denied it, and hated on it. And then one day I snapped out of it and accepted it, and was Lord, do this, and this is the journey I'm going to have to go through, you know. And I said, I'm here for it. Let's get it on. I went on a plane and came home, went to my doctor's appointment to see what the sex was, and there was no heartbeat. It was a boy.
probably
I had
I didn't even know
to
the
miscarriage
story.
it.
you got a guardian angel, and the other
Talk
one,
about it all the time.
the abortion one. Did you know babies sign up for that contract to come here, because that's a very holy thing for the babies to do, because they come to cleanse the karma of their parents, and that's the contract before they're born, is to come and to be gone like that. Because on the spirit side, there is nothing wrong with that. It's a very holy thing for them to come and do that.
Yeah,
So
that is.
they sign
Sorry.
up to be your like life guardian angel.
Yeah. And
Uh-huh.
anytime you lose a child, whether it's before they're born or after they're born, that child, that soul made a contract to wipe your karma clean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also heard that they're connected. Their DNA is in you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And on the soul level, like for the rest of your soul life, that kid is going to be
I read about this. It's scientifically proven.
Yeah. Well, Christy, I get permission for Chris after you're done with Joy, or
Oh, can we draw a card first, Andrea?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I forgot. I got comfortable. All right, hold on. Give me a minute. Ugh. I've been shuffling and all right. Spirit guides and archangels, please give us the card that we need to help us focus on what we need to focus on this week during the snowstorm, as it is time for us to have, give us strength, give us messages that we need in order to proceed for this week.
It's okay. It's okay, Joy.
Let me figure out
it's a wonderful
what you need to tell me. Spirit guides, I ask you, show us what cards you need to
Yeah, Chrissy, you should definitely get a hold of Joy. Maybe we can go to Nashville and have lunch with her.
Aw.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
we
were
got
supposed to
covered
come
again.
Monday, but the snowstorm.
Yeah, I gotta do a rain check, don't I?
All right, hold on. We got the Four of Cups.
Oh, I think that's a good one.
Okay, so it showed up in reverse, and
Oh,
no,
You're
it's
No.
good.
breaking up. Oh no.
Can you hear me?
There
All
we
right, we've got the Four of Cups in reverse, and it's actually a good thing. It says that one will learn new things, meet new people, and encounter new possibilities and experiences. And what I'm understanding about this is as we are growing and we're posting, and y'all are posting this on YouTube, this is where we're going to start meeting new people. And this is where we're going to start hearing about the experiences, which is interesting because what did Christy introduce us to? Let's talk about our experiences. What led us to our spirituality? This is a new realm of where we're getting to know each other on another spiritual conundrum. And this is how we are going to be able to better assist ourselves and better assist one another in the growth of this new earth. Even though that this card is reversed, we are still handing off of last week we had those two cards, and those two cards were telling us that we are supposed to be opened up to new opportunities. Well, the new opportunities of this week is we are to continue that, because whatever we did last week and what we're carrying on today is new opportunities. Well, guess what? We have another opportunity to confide in one another and talk to one another. Christy came over and visited the other day. Me and Joey have talked pretty much every day this week, and being there to help build her faith. This is a whole new realm for us to meet each other together. And that's what I feel like this message is about.
I love that.
So we are Four of
That's
Cups, but it's
beautiful.
reversed. Because like upright was interesting. Let's see. If it was upright, we would be dealing with introspection. Right now, with last week and this week, we're not dealing with introspection. We are supposed to be giving out the information to one another. And we have the intuition to meet the weird people that tend to follow all of us.
We have
Because
the
I could be
lights
at
to heal the
Walmart.
world.
Right. I mean, we are supposed to be a new example of what humanity should start becoming, because if you look at how the world has eroded over the last few years, the new earth and truth is coming out. And I feel like by June, I don't want to say shit's going to hit the fan in a negative way, but like a lot is going to come to fruition. And positive experiences, and we have to keep our faith. What I keep hearing is maintain your faith, work on your faith, stay faithful in everything that comes to mind. So if you have a dream of something happening, keep that in mind, keep the faith, continue to manifest it, because all it's going to do is keep bringing new opportunities for us. I actually, yesterday, I got this random message on my Instagram from my business account on Facebook, Morelli's Boutique. And it was actually from a person from Sheen, the clothing store, Sheen at Shein, whatever. And they have this part where you can do a drop shipping opportunity with them. And so now I'm in the process of making a drop shipping account with Shein.
Yeah.
And I was like, is this the guys? Like, I was like, I'm just going into this like 100% faithful that this could not be a scam or anything. But I just kept hearing, you asked for an opportunity to make more money and you can do this from home. Like, that's all I keep hearing, that I gotta trust that as random as this opportunity could be, I've got to have faith that it just might work
Yeah.
and I could have extra money without sacrificing my mental health trying to teach another class or something. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because so that's one of the positive things I've experienced with trying to be faithful, that some way, somehow, the wedding's going to get paid for. Everything is going to work out. Some way, somehow, this is all going to work out. The past is the past. Corey and I's argument is the past. We are going to move on. So, again, keep our faith growing. When doubt comes, you have to maintain the positive affirmations.
Yeah, because the more you trust your faith, the stronger it grows. And then what
Right,
you desire to have is already there before you even desire it.
right. And I've been desiring some way, somehow, I get some extra money. Now I've got to maintain that something is coming. And I keep hearing the path is still clear. I don't really know what that means. Path is still clear.
It's always clear.
Yeah. It's saying that the path is always clear and there's nothing else to add. Like, okay, anything else? But so yeah, the path is always clear as long as our faith still remains strong. And we have it's all about what we think and what we verbalize. So there
And
was
what we
that.
believe.
I think
And
I
what we
have
believe.
Cressida.
You got Cressida?
Yeah, do you want me to go?
If Andrea's done.
I'm done.
Okay. The path is clear. The path is clear. The path is clear because you don't have unforgiveness in your heart. You see, when you let go of unforgiveness, when you don't intentionally cause another person harm, then you don't have stumbling blocks. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if you have no unforgiveness in your heart and you have no animosity towards another, your path will always stay clear. If you have imagined stumbling blocks, that's because you are letting false information in your mind. But you do not have, you did do a remarkable act of forgiveness, my dear. You did do a remarkable act of pure love. You did offer someone pure love without conditions. And so that alone makes your path always clear. Do you recognize this?
This is for Andrea.
This resonates.
This is for Andrea and for every one of you. Every one of you have been practicing pure love. Every one of you have been practicing forgiveness. And it is not always easy. And we know it is not always easy, but you have been putting in your work and we see that. Do you understand?
Yes.
Is that why you was able to come through tonight?
Yes, because you are letting go of your bitterness and you are letting go of your anger, and you did not think you could do that, but you all have been working on your faith. You all have been working on purifying yourself. You all really have this past week have been able to look at yourself and do an honest inventory, and that is always very helpful for keeping the balance, you see. But also you need to always, every single one of you need to always understand that there is room for growth, there is room for improvement. If someone brings you an idea and you've never heard of it, and maybe it doesn't sound like something that you would be interested in, at least be open, at least hear the idea, at least do some research, or maybe try it, because you truly don't know what miracles you can have until you try something. This is not to say that everything that everyone says is for you, but how will you know about the miracles that are for you if you have a preconceived notion about what your growth journey looks like? Your healing journey is not just only the way you imagine it. In fact, more people can help you than what you realize. Do you understand?
Yeah, that makes sense.
All of you have special gifts, all of you. You know, when Jennifer makes things with her hands, she's changing the world, whether it's cooking or crafting or anything she does with her hands. When Christy is writing, she is changing the world. Whenever Andrea is teaching anybody, she's changing the world. And whenever Joey is listening, did you know, Joey, you're actually supposed to work with victims. You're actually supposed to be a victim advocate. And my dear, you will get there. That is your calling. You are supposed to counsel victims. You are exceptional at listening. And listening is a love language. Listening is a way to heal. That is a way, a wonderful way. It's just as powerful as teaching. That is putting divine energy out there. It's recognizing and saying, you are important. You are important enough to listen to. I am here for you. I can let you cry on my shoulder. You're going to find your path, but you do have a path as a victim advocate. You are a counselor for abused people, and you will find that.
Thank you. Amen.
Oh,
This
that's
all
so
resonates so nicely.
beautiful.
Okay, it's me. What'd she say?
Pretty much what I said, but way better.
What, Andrea?
I said pretty much what I said, but way better.
Yeah, she was I can't even remember.
We are practicing. We don't have unforgiveness on our hearts, and we are working towards maintaining our faith.
And that's why
Self-love and be faithful.
Yep. And be faithful. And she just told Joey where her path should be, and I absolutely 100% agree.
What is it?
And you should be working with abuse victims.
Oh,
Hmm.
oh,
And that she has the gift of listening and taking things in.
oh,
So
so
yeah,
beautiful. Is that
it
something you can
is.
see yourself doing?
Oh, yes, 100%. It's funny that she even said that, but I come in and out, I guess, of I don't know what you call it because I'm still learning. Um, I get visions and I'll get ideas and I'll say things like to certain people, or I'll have a dream, not even knowing if it's for me, for them, for who, whatever. So I was on the phone with a friend of mine and I was like, that job would be so cool. Your son should be a trauma and victim recovery counselor. I was like, this would help him out so well with, help, because he's a helper, he's a giver, I have that. And maybe that was for me, not for him.
Right.
Ooh, I'm gonna start looking in your area. Send me exactly where you live. I'm gonna start looking in your area for opportunities for you, if you don't mind.
Not at all. Get it, girl. I know big
I
things
think
are
that's
coming.
awesome.
I have to
That
remember
just
this is
warms
going
my
on
heart.
YouTube, and I have to get out of pajamas and fix my hair
Girl,
and make
yes.
sure I have a place to lay
Me too.
or
Me
sit
too.
because
But you look good.
And then, Cressida also told
look how
her
red
that,
my face is.
Aw.
girl, you've been touched. Woo!
Yes, seriously, look, red.
She's a flush. But yeah, so that makes me happy.
What else did she
That
say?
makes me happy. She basically said that like she has a way of bringing her listening skills have a way of teaching people how to express that type of love language, which if you think about it, when people are victims of anything, they have a hard time expressing themselves because people don't want to listen. And so, and she is a good listener, a great
But
listener. She hears
especially
me.
when you relate to the person, like I've been
Hmm.
victimized, sexually victimized. I've been, narcissistically victimized and abused and emotionally tormented. And, I get it. And I could feel people. I'm an empath and I have a very strong a sense of urgency and a sense of awareness when something is off. The vibe, I could cut it and I could walk in there and I'm like, someone's talking crap, or I just know it. I know the vibe. I think it's called telekinesis. I totally believe I have that. I could feel someone's emotions through the phone.
I think
Um,
it's clear
I
sentient.
and then like when all of us vibe together every single Wednesday with that I've been a part of this, I shake and tremble and sweat and like I'm cracky in my voice because I feel everybody's energy, and it's always like it's in my chakra right now, and it's in my chest.
At least it's
And when it's negative, it's in my head, and I tremble like differently. I tremble sickness when it's negative.
Yeah. That's just your heart chakra because you know you're in a place of love and we're radiating,
Yeah,
a non-judgmental environment. And because we're
100%.
radiating a non-judgmental environment, we are able to be our woo-woo selves.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And plus what we haven't discovered
Absolutely.
yet.
What, Jennifer?
Plus whatever we haven't discovered yet.
Right. Right.
Yes,
So, I
girl.
mean,
We're going to be opening retreats. We're going to be writing books. You guys, it's going to be a totally different ball game in probably less than 3 years. There's going to be retreats. Every single one of you are going to be a part of it. We're going to be
have a
writing books. It's going to be a whole mission.
like, I mean, I
I
have
keep
really been,
hearing writing a book. I would love to, maybe it's not me about books, but something has come to me through the week saying, you know, someone's going to write a book, or there's going to be books involved. And I'm like, I should write a book about my life. But, you know, listening to all
like,
this
I would love,
confirmation, they're writing a book. What?
You should write a
like,
book.
I would love to make
No,
money
not
off
me,
of
you.
tarot reading. Right.
Will. I'm gonna write a
Like,
lot
I
of
would love to make a living off of tarot cards. I would love to, but
Get on YouTube. Get on YouTube.
Yeah, if you want to do it, just do it. You'll be surprised on when you do something you really love, you'll be surprised the abundance that flows.
yeah. Because I'll be like, man, I want to be that tapped into spirit, like so bad. But I want to make sure it's like a pure curiosity. I don't want to do it just because, like, fun, because just because it looks fun doesn't mean that the work that needs to be done hasn't been done. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Yeah,
want to
but
make
all
sure
you
it's a
have to do is
pure.
just every day just say, I surrender. I know nothing. Teach me everything. I surrender. And once you're at that level of humility, doors will open for you. The learning will come. The confidence will come. I forget that. But when I was doing that, it was like night and day.
Gotcha. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I need to make sure I'm more of a humble vessel.
yeah, if you desire for it to come, it will come.
Yeah.
Like Jennifer used to always tell me, be humble, but take no shit. And that was gold for me because everybody used to walk all over me. So I mean, basically what she meant was,
Oh,
yeah,
God.
be humble, but have boundaries. You don't, she's not saying go off on everybody that's ugly to you, Christy. She's just saying have boundaries. Be humble enough to know you're not always right. Be humble enough to let the spirit guides in, but have boundaries because I have a lot of toxic family members. And Jennifer would just, it would break her heart to hear me and all the brokenness that they would put me through. And so she used to, back in the day, she would always say, be humble, but take no shit.
Right.
You took my advice.
Yeah, girl, I'm the queen of boundaries now.
Look,
Same.
that's
Me
awesome.
too.
Well, I hate to say it, but I gotta go. Corey's home, and I gotta go check on the girls since they were fighting the whole time we were on here.
Oh,
They're quiet, so I'm assuming they made up and stuff. So, but let me go be a mom, and I love you guys. I hope y'all have a wonderful night, and don't forget we are supposed to make sure we are opening ourselves up to new opportunity, meeting new people and experiences.
Oh,
okay.
I
I
love
can't wait to
you.
watch this back and listen to everything. Love you.
Love you. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Talk to you later.
I love it. I love it. I'm gonna stop recording unless you want me to keep recording.
That's fine.